In this video, we're going to show you how to change a window regulator in a 2013 Chevy Cruze. Hey, this is Donnie with Car Addict Garage, and we're going to show you the steps we took to replace this window regulator. So if your glass quit rolling up and down, your door glass, and you can grab it by your hands and move it up and down some, chances are the window regulator is broke. What happens is that cable that drives that rolls that window up and down has broke, and it's not allowing the window regulator to roll that up and down. So the first thing you're going to need to do is remove your interior trim panel. And there's some covers here that you'll have to take off because behind those there's going to be a screw holding the door panel on. And just gently pop these out. You don't want to break them, so take a little bit of time, pop them out, and then behind that will be the screw that you need to take out. So there's one there, and then down in the right there's one. So if you pop that cover off, then you'll be able to see the other screw. So there's two screws you'll need to take out, and I'll speed this up and go through this. I don't bore you with just taking out screws, but I want to take those two out, and then we'll be ready to remove the clips on this door panel. Pretty simple door panel to take off. So I've got a trim removal tool here, and it's a good idea to use one of those so you don't break any of the clips. If you just try to pull it off, a lot of times you'll break a clip, and then you'll have to go get another one to replace it. So just take a little time removing that door panel. Use that tool to kind of pop that clip out, and then you can grab it by hand and kind of remove it the rest of the way once it's kind of loose. And on this door panel, you can also take that mirror cover off. On this door panel, you kind of lift up on the bottom and then kind of tap it on the top just a little bit, and that'll release it where you can take this door panel off, this trim panel. And then once you get it off, you'll still have the door handle and some wires that you have to disconnect. So just disconnect those wires, and then also disconnect the door handle. You can kind of see how I'm doing that there. It just kind of rotates out of there. You'll be able to see what it looks like once you get it off. You can kind of get behind there and see it and remove that. Once you have those removed, you can completely remove the door panel, and then you can have access to get inside the door to replace the regulator. There is a barrier, a vapor barrier there that you will have to remove. And again, it's important that this goes back on. So be careful. Don't just rip that off. Carefully take that off where you can put it back on. You may not have to take it all the way off just to get access to get to this regulator, but get enough to where you can get inside there to get to the bolts that hold the side glass on. And one more bracket I'm going to take off because it's kind of in the way. It's holding this barrier on, so I'm going to remove that so I can remove this piece of plastic just a little bit further. And it kind of has some adhesive on there that stays sticky, so try not to get that dirty so that you can put it back on. Now you can see the window is just going up and down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it in place. I've got these suction cups that hold it in place. If you had another person, that'll work too. But if you're doing it by yourself like me, these work real well. And I'll put a link to the description down in the bottom if you want to learn more about that. So there's a couple bolts that's holding this on. And I'm using a little impact. I believe they're 10 millimeter. And I'm just removing these. And once those are removed, you can take the window regulator out. So I'm removing those. And then you also need to unplug the window regulator. There's a wire that goes to the motor, so you'll need to disconnect that. So you've got those two there. And now I'm just going to take that window regulator out of there. So this one was broke. It was in two pieces. It's normally one piece. So I just had to take it out in a couple pieces. Normally, like I said, it's one. And it's a good idea every time you replace a part to make sure you have the correct part. A lot of times it may not be the correct part, and you go to put it in, don't know why, something's wrong, but always kind of compare them as you have one out and you're about to put the new one back in. So now you can see this new regulator is all connected. It's not two different pieces. And I can put it in there, get it aligned back in there. And the top already has a bolt in. They're loose, and you can kind of fit them in those slots. And that way it'll kind of help you align where it should be. So you put it in those slots and get it aligned. Might take just a little bit of twisting to get everything the way it should be. But you can see I'm getting that front one in there. And the back one. There I go with the back one, getting that one aligned in there. And then that'll have you pretty well set up where you need to be. Now the old glass, or the old regulator, wasn't actually bolted to the glass. It was all the way broke. This one you will have to bolt the window regulator to the glass like it should be. So I'm getting the bottom one started. And again, I just want to hand tighten everything at this point until I get everything aligned and everything started, and then I will tighten everything up. So I'm getting it just a little bit snug right now. And for this glass, you're going to have to roll it up and down until it sits on top of the guides on the window regulator, so that you know, it attaches it where you attached that. Now once you have everything snugged up, now you're going to have to put the door panel on just to hook the switch up so that you can roll the window regulator up and down so that you can connect it so that it lines up to where the glass fits the regulator. And you can see it right here. There's a bolt, and I need to roll that up and down until it hits the glass. And I want to get it to that access hole, and that's where you're going to be able to tighten it at. There's one on each side. And now I'm tightening everything up, you know, the window to the glass to the regulator and the regulator itself. I can tighten all that up. There's two bolts holding it to the glass. Now I want to hand tighten these by a ratchet so I know how tight it's getting in. I don't want to over tighten it. You know, you might bust a screw or something like that, and that would be bad. Now one more thing you want to do before disconnecting the door panel again is you want to roll it up and down. Make sure everything's working correctly. Do it a couple of times and make sure there's not a problem, because the last thing you want to do is get it all back together and realize something's wrong. So make sure that you test it before putting it all back together. Now I can get that vapor barrier and put it back on, reattach that glue. If there's some spots that's not sticking well, you can get some weather strip adhesive and put back on there. This one went back on well. Then you want to be able to put any brackets on that you had off, which I had this one bracket off, put that back in, and then you can put the interior trim panel back on. So I'm getting all that ready and get the trim panel back on, and we are almost done with this job. These window regulators can cause a lot of problems, but they're really not that hard to replace. You know, you just got to get one ordered, and then you know, it's really something you can do yourself at your house with very little tools. Okay, I've got that on, and now I am running, making sure all the wires and cables are running through where they should be. I'm going ahead and plugging that in, and be sure and put the door handle cable back on. You know, you forget that, door handle's not going to open the door from the inside, so make sure that's on. And that's another one of them things, you get it all back together and realize you didn't do that. Well, guess what? You've got to take it all back apart again, or just the door panel off to reattach those things. Now you want to line it up and kind of reverse what you did. Set it on the top, kind of knock it down. Make sure that lock goes through on this one. Set it down, and now you can make sure that the clips align with the holes. Kind of making sure that it's going in there. And once it is, you just kind of pop it in with your hand, and then it should just pop right back in that hole. This one is off center a little bit, or off from the hole. I need to adjust it just a little bit. And you may have to do that. But once it's in, just kind of hit it with your palm a little bit. You know, you don't have to hit it too hard. And then the door panel will be back on. And then all you have to do is put those two screws back on, put the mirror cover back on, and you have replaced this window regulator yourself. And now you can give yourself a pat on the back. Not only did you do it yourself, you saved some money just by buying the window regulator yourself and doing it yourself. And I'll put some links down in the description where you can find the window regulator and the door trim pull and the suction cups. It doesn't take a lot of tools to do this job. For about 30 minutes of your time, you can save a lot of money. And that, my friends, is how you change a window regulator on a 2013 Chevy Cruze. As always, thanks for watching these videos. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, be sure and leave us a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to us, be sure and do that. Give us a thumbs up and give us a like if you like this video. And follow us on Instagram at Car Addict Garage. If you have any pictures you'd like to share in there, be sure and tag us in it, Car Addict Garage, and that way I'll be able to see photos of your pictures, projects, and I'd love to see them. So, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.